My name is Tiffany. Just last week, I was sitting in a cozy coffee shop in Park Slope with my new boyfriend, Ethan. He's a graphic designer, calm and straightforward, the kind of man who makes me feel secure. As we sipped our coffee and chatted, I felt this strange sensation of being watched. I looked up, and there he was, Jake, standing near the counter. Our eyes met, and then he saw Ethan sitting across from me. Jake froze for a moment, and I thought he might come over. Instead, he turned around and left. Looking back, it's hard to believe how far I've come. I used to think my life was on a steady path. I was in a 5-year relationship with Jake. We'd spent 3 of those years living together in a small apartment in Queens. It was a place with peeling paint on the walls and a leaky faucet in the kitchen, but it was home. I worked as a marketing coordinator for a local advertising agency. The job was demanding, with long hours and tight deadlines, but I loved it. Jake was a software engineer. He was smart, charming, and always knew how to make me laugh. At least, that's what I thought. It all started on a Tuesday evening. That afternoon, I'd received a promotion. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was a step forward in my career. I was excited to share the news with Jake. I left work early, stopped by his favorite bakery, and picked up his favorite chocolate croissant. I even splurged on a bouquet of flowers. When I got home, Jake was sitting on the couch, his phone in his hand. He didn't look up when I walked in. "We need to talk," he said. Those 4 words sent a chill down my spine. I set the bag and the flowers on the counter and sat down across from him. "I've been thinking a lot lately," he began. "About us, about where we're going." His voice was calm, but I could tell he'd rehearsed these words. "I just need some time for myself. I'm not ready for this relationship right now." I was in shock. We'd been together for 5 years. We'd shared so many memories, so many dreams. "Are you breaking up with me?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He rubbed his hands together, a nervous habit. "I don't know. I just need space. Time to figure out what I want." I looked at him, really looked at him. "Jake, we've been together for 5 years. You don't know what you want?" "It's not that simple," he said quickly. "I feel like I've lost myself. I don't even know who I am outside of us anymore." I took a deep breath. "So, what does this mean? Do you want me to move out?" "Just a few weeks, maybe a month. I just need to clear my head," he said. I didn't beg. I didn't cry. I just stood up, walked into the kitchen, and put the croissant in the fridge. "All right, if that's what you want," I said. He looked surprised. "That's it? You're not going to fight for us?" "You just told me you need space," I replied calmly. "What do you want me to do? Tell you you're wrong about your own feelings?" He hesitated. "I just thought you'd." "I don't know. When are you leaving?" I asked. "Tomorrow." "I already talked to my brother," he said. "Okay. Do you need help packing?" "No, I've got it." That night, we slept in the same bed, but it felt like we were worlds apart. The next morning, Jake packed 2 suitcases with an efficiency that made me realize he'd been planning this for a while. He didn't look around the apartment with sadness or hesitation. He just moved methodically, like he was following a script. I made coffee out of habit. The smell filled the kitchen, but it couldn't mask the emptiness in the air. "Do you want a cup?" I asked. He paused, then nodded. We stood there in silence as the coffee dripped. When he was ready to leave, he stood by the door. "Tiffany, I'm sorry," he said softly. "Don't be. You need to do what's right for you," I replied. My voice was steady, but inside, I was breaking. "I'll text you. We can talk once I've had time," he said. "Sure." He opened the door, stepped out, and then hesitated one last time, as if he expected me to stop him. I didn't. The door closed, and his footsteps faded down the hall. I stood there for a long time, holding my coffee. Then I made a decision. I wasn't going to wait around. I called my friend, Lily. We'd met at a yoga class a few years ago and had become close. She was always there for me, no questions asked. She answered on the second ring. Tiff, you okay? I need to ask you something. Are you still looking for a roommate? I asked. There was a moment of silence. Yeah. Why? Jake and I are done, I said. Lily exhaled slowly. Okay. When do you want to move in? This weekend. Works for me. After we hung up, I walked through our apartment, like a stranger. The couch where we'd watched countless movies, the dining table where we'd shared meals, the photos on the wall, they were all reminders of a life we'd built together. But if Jake could leave it all behind so easily, then maybe our story was different from what I thought. I spent the rest of the week packing. I sorted through our things, separating mine from his. I left the things we'd bought together in the living room, like a silent memorial. I took my clothes, my books, my laptop, and a photo of my parents. At night, when the apartment was too quiet, I opened my laptop and looked through old photos. There were pictures of our vacations, our dinners, our parties. I remembered the way Jake used to look at me, the way he'd hold my hand. But I also remembered the times he'd been distant, the times he'd seemed lost in his own world. I backed up all the photos to an external drive and then deleted them from my laptop. It wasn't out of anger, it was out of necessity. I needed to move on. On Friday, I signed the lease at Lily's place. It was a smaller apartment in Brooklyn, but it felt like a fresh start. On Saturday morning, I moved out. Lily helped me carry the boxes, and we didn't say much. Sometimes, silence is the best thing. When the last box was in the living room, I went back to the old apartment one last time. It felt empty, like a shell of what it used to be. I left my key on the counter and a note that said, Jake, I've moved out. I hope you find what you're looking for. Take care, Tiffany. By Sunday, I was settled into Lily's place. The room was smaller, but it was mine. Lily worked as a nurse and had odd hours, so we didn't get in each other's way. She gave me the space I needed without making me feel alone. 2 weeks went by, and there was no word from Jake. I focused on my work, started going to the gym more, and even took up painting. I unfollowed Jake on social media and muted his brother and some of our mutual friends. I needed to protect myself. My mom called during this time. She'd always liked Jake and had been asking when we were going to get engaged. How's Jake doing? She asked. We're not together anymore, Mom, I said, my throat tightening. What happened? He needed space, so I gave it to him, I replied. Oh, honey. Are you okay? I'm better than I expected, I admitted. You can always come home, she said. I know, but I'm fine here, I told her. I could hear the worry in her voice when we said goodbye, but I was determined to be strong. Then, one Thursday evening, my phone buzzed. It was Jake. Hey, can we talk? He texted. I stared at the message for a long time. I knew what I wanted to say, but I wanted to make sure I said it without emotion getting the better of me. I set my phone down, finished the painting I was working on, and then picked it up again. Sure, what's up? I typed. He asked if he could call me, but I said I'd prefer text. Then he said, I went by the apartment yesterday. You moved out. Yeah. You didn't tell me you were leaving, I replied. I didn't mean for you to move out completely, he said. I read his message twice. The audacity of it was almost unbelievable. You asked for space. I gave you space, I typed. He said he just needed time to think. I asked if he'd thought about things, and he said, yes, I miss you. Those 3 words came 3 weeks too late. I'm glad you've had time to think. I hope you figure out what you want, I replied. He told me not to be cold and distant. I sat up straight and typed, "You wanted space, Jake. I gave you space. I'm not sitting around waiting for you to decide whether I'm worth your time." He said it wasn't fair, but I told him what wasn't fair was asking someone to put their life on hold while he figured himself out. He asked if we could meet and talk face to face. I considered it, but I decided I wasn't ready. Maybe eventually, but not right now. I'm good where I am, I said. A few days later, he called. I let it go to voicemail. He texted, asking me to pick up. I didn't respond. Then he said he was coming to Lily's place after work. I showed Lily the messages. "Do you want me to be here?" she asked. "No, I'll handle it," I said. This was about closure. On Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. There was a knock at the door. I opened it and there was Jake. He looked different. His hair was messy, and he had dark circles under his eyes. He looked like he'd been through a lot. "Hey," he said quietly. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. He walked in and looked around the apartment. "Nice place," he said. "It works." We sat in the living room. The silence was awkward. He fidgeted with his hands. On his wrist was the watch I'd given him for his birthday last year. "I made a mistake," he said finally. I didn't respond. I thought I needed space, but what I really needed was to understand why I felt stuck. "It wasn't you, it was me. I panicked about commitment, about the future," he said. I nodded slowly. "I know I hurt you. I want to try again." "I want us to try again," he said. "Jake, when you said you needed space, I respected that. If you weren't sure about us after 5 years, fighting wasn't going to change that," I said calmly. "I was confused, but I'm not confused anymore," he said. "That's good. I'm glad you figured it out," I replied. "But I'm not confused either. I spent 2 weeks realizing I don't want to be with someone who isn't sure about me." He frowned. "What do you mean?" "I mean I deserve better than being someone's backup plan." "Did you meet someone else?" I asked. The room went quiet. He looked away. That was all the answer I needed. "Who is she?" I asked. "It doesn't matter." "Nothing happened," he said. "Jake, whether you kissed her or not doesn't change the fact that you left me to explore something with another woman," I said firmly. He swallowed. "A woman from work. We got drinks a few times. I thought I might have feelings for her, but I didn't. It made me realize what I had with you. I didn't feel angry. I just felt tired." "What's her name?" "Why does it matter?" "Because I want to know who you were willing to throw us away for." "Her name is Ava," he said. "You left me to see if you could do better. You found out you couldn't, and now you want to come back," I said, standing up. "That's not what this was," he said. "Yes, it was. And the worst part is you didn't even have the courage to tell me the truth. You dressed it up as needing space when really you wanted options," I said. "Please, Tiffany. Don't throw away 5 years because I messed up," he said, his eyes filling with tears. "I'm not throwing away 5 years. You did that. I'm just refusing to pretend it didn't happen," I replied. He stood there for a moment, then nodded stiffly. "If you change your mind." "I won't," I said. He left, and I closed the door. I stood there for a moment, then went back to the couch. Lily came home 20 minutes later. "How'd it go?" she asked. "He wanted to get back together, and I said no," I replied. "How do you feel?" "Relieved," I said without hesitation. The weeks that followed were quiet. Jake called a few times, and I didn't answer. He texted long messages full of apologies, but I didn't respond. His brother reached out, asking me to talk to Jake, but I told him that Jake and I were done. A few days later, I got a message from Sarah, Jake's best friend. She said she was sorry and that she thought I was doing the right thing. Her words meant a lot to me. 2 months passed. I heard through mutual friends that Ava had a boyfriend, and Jake was looking for a new job. I felt a little sorry for him, but mostly, I felt free. I focused on my work, my painting, and my new relationship with Ethan. We take things slow, and it's exactly what I need. My mom asked about Jake again last Sunday. Have you talked to Jake at all? No, Mom, and I won't. He left me to chase another woman. There's no amount of time that makes that okay, I said gently. You sound strong, she said. I feel strong. I'd love for you to meet Ethan when you're ready, I told her. Soon, I promise, she replied. My dad got on the phone after. He's not a man of many words, but he said, I'm proud of you. It takes guts to walk away when someone isn't treating you right. Those words meant the world to me. I've learned that when someone asks for space, you should give it to them. All of it. Don't wait around for someone who isn't sure about you. You deserve to be with someone who chooses you without hesitation. And I'm grateful for this lesson because now, I've chosen myself.